Hey girls, guys, and all people like it is Maux here, and hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a little review for Security Breach from an OG FNAF fan. I've been in this franchise, loving this franchise for as long as I can remember, and I just want to give my little take on Security Breach and kind of the franchise as a whole nowadays. I have recently had a not-so-good relationship with FNAF as a franchise for many reasons. The direction of the story mostly, but now also the direction of the gameplay. So, okay, I was a huge fan of Five Nights at Freddy's since it came out, and my love for it only grew as the games continued to get released. I love the storyline mostly, and the gameplay was fun and new for me. I loved how dark and mysterious everything was, and of course everyone's favorite part was trying to, decode the lore. I only started to lose interest in the franchise after Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night. Those felt like the perfect ending to a story that some might say went on for too long. I loved almost every minute of it though, and felt it was the perfect ending to the story. Jump forward to the new games that I haven't even felt the need to watch until Security Breach. The VR game and the AR game really just served to kind of bother me and make me feel like the franchise was just being milked. The story was done, and I'm sure many others were happy with that, but they just had to go on and try and make more. Now Security Breach. I finished watching Security Breach, watching instead of playing, because I didn't want to sink money into a game that I felt I wouldn't really enjoy. Boy, was that the right decision, because I would have been paying for a game that I wouldn't even really classify as fully finished, and a story that threw pretty much everything I cared about straight in the bin. I watched Markiplier play the game for the most part, like I've done with many FNAF games, though I've played most of them myself usually. And his whole Let's Play was very roughly about 12 hours long, so that's 12 hours of gameplay. And throughout the 12 hours, I got very frustrated with so many things. So I watched the game with my significant other, as she's a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's series as well. And so many times things would happen on screen, and we would just kind of look at each other like, what just happened? Like, how is this canon? Like, what the hell is going on? And other times it was like, how is this game even released? It is so buggy and broken. It's insane.
Am I bugged or something? Is this not quite right?
Both the story and the gameplay fell flat for us, leaving only a few sequences that actually had us interested. Whether you find the game scary or not, I feel FNAF has always been a horror game with suspense and intrigue, and Security Breach had neither of those. Some of the mechanics were cool, and I mostly enjoyed the Weeping Angel type endoskeleton animatronics. Those were super cool for me. The moments in the security office that played like normal Five Nights at Freddy's, but in some like 3D space with added things to do, I thought those sequences were so cool and like reminiscent and upgraded, of course, when they weren't completely broken, that is. And the final ending with William Afton. I feel like if they focused on those things like a lot more, instead of making you run around this insanely massive map while also being able to dodge every obstacle relatively easily, like I feel like if you played it right, you could do like a no deaths of this whole game, which sure, you should be able to do sometimes in games, but I feel like it was just, it was broken with how easy some of the things were. I feel like the creator of FNAF Plus put it really well when they said, "I'm a fan of complex resource management, old vintage tech, cramped and creepy environments, bittersweet or tragic endings, disturbing paranormal events, twisted and uncanny creatures or characters, memorable music and ambience." And just like they said later on in their review, Security Breach basically had none of those things. By the way, I'll put a link in the description to their full Twitter post, which I actually really enjoyed reading, and I feel like we share a lot of the same views on the franchise. And also a big link to their YouTube channel, also there, because they're making FNAF Plus, which looks insanely good. Anyway. A huge disappointment to me was the character designs and the way that the characters played. I'm a huge fan of character and creature design, and it's an incredibly important factor in games and media for me. While I liked the character designs to some degree, I mostly didn't really care for them. They weren't scary or interesting until they were broken, and even then, I only liked them like slightly more than before. And I feel like maybe that's due to the style of the game being a lot more 80s and like that futuristic look of like how people in the past thought the future would look. But alright, I'll reference FNAF Plus again, those models. I'll give you a little side-by-side with those models and the Security Breach models, and you just tell me which ones you think are scarier. I'm assuming you went with the FNAF Plus models. The new and shiny designs for the animatronics work with the style, but aren't particularly interesting or scary in my opinion. There's a lot of spooky things and aspects you can use and take from like a futuristic design and style, but these designs just seem too cartoonish, like cartoon-like, and flat out not scary. scary, in my opinion. And something immensely confusing to me was why everything looked the way it did. Like, why does everything look so shiny and new after everything that's happened? Like, how is the in-game franchise Fazbear Entertainment, like, even still running after everything? And maybe I would know that if I bothered to play the AR game and the VR game. But one, I am honestly not very interested in this new story, and two, I feel like I've had an alright time piecing everything together myself based on video clips that I watch and, like, reading up on lore and everything, doing my own research, besides just playing the games. Though, of course, I know that playing the games is a massive part of this franchise as a whole, obviously, and like learning about things for yourself. But whether you like the new story and the fact that it continues on or not, the story and lore presented in Security Breach was simply confusing to me. So from what I know from the original games, FNAF 1 through Ultimate Custom Night is somewhat non-canon now. Like, I don't know how non-canon it is, but from what I've been told and from what I've read up on, I think I heard somewhere that they're in-game video games meant to slander the company. I don't know if that was a theory or if that was, like, confirmed. I do need to do more research, I'll tell you that much. But I say somewhat non-canon from what I know and from this game because William Afton does make a return in this game from being presumably dead. And I believe in Help Wanted, the VR game, you like release his soul in some way to free him. If you want a full theory video, let me know in the comments below. I'll do like full proper research and tell you about my own theories mixed with actual confirmed pieces of lore. But anyway, what I understand from this game is that Vanessa helps to revive William Afton. I'm pretty sure it's because she's his daughter, which we learned from her therapy CDs, and that's all fine and actually made my experience better to listen to all of those like therapy CDs and make theories of my own and work with my significant other to kind of come up with our own theories and everything. That was so much fun. And yeah, that was actually the best part of the entire experience for, I think I can say, the both of us. But sadly, that's one of the few positive things I can really say about this game. I think my main confusion was with why all this needed to happen. Like, why was he dead in the first place if the original games are non-canon? And you might be leaving angry comments saying, well, in classic Five Nights at Freddy's style, it might be hidden and it might be revealed in later games. To which I would respond, I watched over 12 hours of gameplay, not including separate like lore videos and doing my own research on the lore itself. And some people might take even longer to play the game depending on your skill level in playing these types of games, and sadly how buggy the game is if the game decides to screw you over or not. Now, I love finding hidden lore in games and like learning things and like deeply exploring the area and the environment. But with a game as long as this was, obviously taking even longer to like play and make than the original games, I feel like there should be some kind of big payoff that we should get from this game. The original games were small little indie games with pieces of lore around it, but this played like a full, I don't want to say AAA game necessarily, but you could roam around an extremely large map. And there was a lot of stuff to like do and everything, and you feel like in that style of game you want to see the payoff, rather than just be told everything the way that we were told it in this game, if that makes sense. Speaking of payoffs, let's talk about that ending with old William Afton. He dies. Again, that's what, like the third or fourth time he dies in this franchise? In an Ultimate Custom Night, he's literally in his own personal hell. At what point does this all end and we can be at peace with this story? Don't get me wrong though, that ending was the like most interesting part of the game for me in my opinion, but even that falls flat. By the way, when Gregory says Chica is coming during the ending sequence, I was legit on the edge of my seat waiting to see old Chica, and was so utterly disappointed when just the same Chica we've been seeing for the entire game come out, just as buggy and non-spooky as ever. I felt old Chica would have been such a cool and genuinely creepy yet intriguing callback. That's assuming you look past the fact that this game could have and should have ended ages ago. But moving on to the absolute worst part of the game, the bugs and the glitches. I have never seen a more broken game. That's an exaggeration, most definitely. But seriously, there are so many instances and full compilations even of the game being super buggy, the mechanics being broken, and the game being all in all unplayable at times. It makes me question if the game was even play tested at all, honestly. That's the game at its worst, however. At its worst, it's a nightmare that's scarier than anything the lore could come up with. At its best though, I felt like it was almost a step in the right direction. Assuming you're okay with disregarding the older games and embracing this kind of newer story, it's a baby step in the right direction. The kind of step where you twist your ankle and you fall, but at least you're falling in the right direction. You're facing the right way. And maybe that's hard to believe or hear coming from me, given I just kind of trashed on this whole game up until this point. But when I look at the positives of this game, it did keep me coming back for more. This franchise has always had a bit of a way of pulling me back into it every time I get out of it, and this game was no different. It kept me coming back for more, to learn more of the story. I even told my partner when we started watching, I was like, I cannot believe you managed to get me to even watch this series, like this video. And then by the end, I was saying, I can't believe you got me back into Five Nights at Freddy's as a whole. This game's pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but that doesn't mean that this franchise is all horrible and frustrating. The whole time I wanted to know more and to do and to see more, which is something that I feel Five Nights at Freddy's has always kind of done for me, and that's where most of my enjoyment comes from, making me want to learn more of this interesting story. And this game, as bad and janky as it has been, even with the story, it did keep me coming back to want to learn more. I can say that much. And if they could have pulled it off better in this game, they probably really would have got me fully back into the franchise as a whole. And by the franchise as a whole, I mean mostly the main series games, because something I am super interested in is Five Nights at Freddy's Plus. I'm going to be taking a look at those videos shortly, which I'm super excited for because it looks amazing, and when the game comes out, I think I'll be playing it. It looks really good, actually, and it looks like the person behind it really does care for this franchise, despite not caring so much for the direction that they're going in game and out of the game, with like the companies and everything. But it looks like they genuinely care for this, and I think they said in their like FNAF Security Breach review type post thing that this game is their baby. It's their thing that they're working on, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. And I think it's safe to say that I'm excited to see where that goes rather than where the main series goes. But let me know if you guys want to see me actually play Security Breach. I might be down to play it if hopefully it gets some like updates and patches and stuff to make it less buggy and broken and horrible. But yeah, if you guys want to see me play that or play any FNAF games, any fan games, I would be super down to. Let me know in the comments below. Links in the description to FNAF Plus and all my links in the description as well. My socials and everything. I have a Discord page if you want to come in there and discuss FNAF with me. I'd be super down to, or any other game I'd be down to. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, my dudes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next one. I play a whole bunch of games: Minecraft, Pokemon, FNAF, now apparently again. God, I can't believe this. But thanks for watching. See you all in the next one, and goodbye. Oh, also, Happy New Year, my dudes. Hope you guys have had a great New Year's. Hopefully everything's going good. Here's to 2022. Have a good one.